Villages had been evacuated as a precaution. Some experts have warned of the risks of flooding, as vast mounds of debris are clogging the path of the river Lonza, causing a huge lake to swell amid the wreckage.
The images are just really, really shocking.
Mylene Jackmar is a glaciologist.
Over the course of the past 2 weeks or so, there was a large rock instability that developed above the glacier. So there's a mountain and, rock started falling off the mountain and depositing on the glacier.
While Jackmar cannot say for certain whether climate change was the underlying cause of this event, she said it's one of the main drivers behind big changes in the mountains.
What we know is that, climate change at high elevations is not favorable for rock slope stability. So with increasing temperatures, more water available through ice and snow melt, maybe precipitation falling even at high elevations more often as rain than as snow. So those are factors that are not beneficial to mountain stability.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today, or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Levin. Puppy Levin is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
U.S. stocks finish higher Thursday with the Dow gaining more than 0.25% and the S&P 500 and NASDAQ each rising about 0.4%. Investors digested a late afternoon court ruling that reinstated President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, reversing a trade court decision from the previous day that had blocked them. Meanwhile, shares of NVIDIA jumped more than 3% after the AI bellwether reported stronger than expected quarterly sales. Ben McMillan, Chief Investment Officer at IDX Advisors, said NVIDIA's results overshadowed the market's reaction to the latest tariff back and forth.
That's kind of been the story this entire year is, it's been tariff ping pong, for lack of a better term. And we saw, a lot of exuberance immediately after that court blocked it. Now there's news coming out today that, well, the White House is almost certainly going to challenge this. Also, there's still going to be tariffs in place. It's not like they evaporated. If anything, I think the bigger story, honestly, is NVIDIA, with the beat that they had and, just the signal that sends for, kind of broader strength and, what has been, the main growth sector for equities of recent.
In other company news, shares of Best Buy plunged more than 7% after the retailer lowered its annual sales and profit forecast amid concerns that U.S. tariffs would weigh on consumer demand for big-ticket items. Boeing rose more than 3% after its CEO said the plane maker aims to increase its production of its best-selling 737 MAX jets. On the economic front, the number of Americans filing new applications for jobless benefits increased more than expected, and the unemployment rate appeared to have picked up in May. And a second reading from the Commerce Department showed U.S. GDP contracted 0.2% in the first quarter. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast a 0.3% contraction.
A lot of people on Wall Street have been, very kind of cautious when it comes to, the AI demand. Is, how far ahead is, how much future growth is being priced in. And, even still, you look at NVIDIA, it's got a PE that's still north of 30. There's a lot of growth priced in this. The thing I mentioned to keep an eye on was the gross margin, because that's where you're going to see, I think, the weakness, show up first. Now that, to NVIDIA's credit, it came in at 61%, which was down from the 71% estimates, which is high. I mean, 61% is still very high, even for software. But, a lot of that was, due to the export restrictions, specifically on those H2O chips. So if you take that into account, their margins are still holding in at 71%. And, so that combined with the fact that data center revenue, is still growing at a fantastic clip, over 70% year on year. And it's big data centers, it's Microsoft, it's kind of big enterprise players. Frankly, this was a stronger report than I thought. Now, that said, that doesn't mean that a lot of this was already priced in, which is, I think why we're seeing or potentially priced in, which is, I think why we're, seeing NVIDIA come back a little bit. But it's definitely, it's good news for NVIDIA, of course, but I think it's good news for the broader AI sector and kind of the thesis in general. One thing we've been looking at, which has been flashing red, is, consumer credit. You look at auto loans, you look at credit card utilization, credit card defaults, those have started ratcheting up. Those are back to kind of 2007, 2008 levels. And so that, the U.S. consumer, of course, is kind of the bedrock of our economy, and they need jobs to keep everything running. And so when that's why the jobless claims numbers or the unemployment rate is such a big deal, is because especially in this environment, if people are worried about their jobs and are not spending, things grind to a halt pretty quickly, especially when you've got interest rates where they are. And so, when you look at kind of the jobless claims numbers, we're in the camp that's looking at, this latest print as, hey, this could be, this could finally be where we start to see the cracks emerge in the so-called headline numbers, and not just the second order numbers like the WARN notices or the job hop rate or things like that have been slowing down for a while now. I think we could see a downside surprise to the jobless claims number in the back half of this year.
All right, let's take a look at that weather forecast for Northwest Pennsylvania on this Friday as we make sure our graphics are updated here for you. It's been one of those weeks, shall we say? Short. It's funny because I think we were talking about this yesterday. So many people we've talked to this week for such a short week have said this has been a long week, a long trying week. So I don't know what it is about this week. But anyways, here we are. Let's look at that forecast for you. And note the temperatures next week starting to warm up. All right, cloudy with occasional showers this afternoon. Temperatures today in the mid-upper 60s. Cloudy this evening, showers after midnight with lows in the low 50s. Saturday, morning rain showers. The graphic says 60. Our forecast is saying low to mid-50s perhaps. Sunday, the 1st of June, partly cloudy, 60 for a high. Monday, mostly sunny in low 70s. Tuesday, mostly sunny with temperatures in the low 80s. So that is what we're looking at. Meadville this morning checking in at 52 degrees. Cambridge Springs, Edinboro, 51. Titusville, 49. Franklin, 50. Oil City, 50 degrees here this morning. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Hello, Friday, it's good to see you. Today's gonna be a good day. Thanks for starting your Friday with Luke and Amy on the Morning Drill. Hello, Friday, it's good to see you. Today's gonna be a good day. Thanks for starting your Friday with Luke and Amy on the Morning Drill.
All right, yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good day for you. Happy Friday, everybody. Again, a short week, so, yeah, it's like, hey, this was quick. But, 3 people in the last, 2 days? 3 or 4 people I've talked to, including last night at the grocery store. We were having a conversation, and they're like, oh, my gosh, it's been such a long week.
It has. It's crazy. I can't explain it. I think, in my world, obviously we were closed on Monday, so everybody, was enjoying the long weekend, and it was like, oh man,
Yeah.
back to reality, and boom.
Yeah, so I kind of went into it. Now, we worked Monday because we covered a baseball game. But we were also coming back from a little bit of a mini vacation, so it was kind of like, okay, ready for this. So I was kind of excited to get into it. It was like, okay, short week, lot going on, get it all in.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it was like, wow.
Somebody threw a brick roll right in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
I will say, looking at your forecast, I'm excited because the game we got to cover, they made it onto States, and they play on Monday, and that is...
Looks nice.
Perfect. I mean, it's not too hot. It's not cold. That is perfect ball-playing weather. Mm-hmm. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I think, what was it? The other night, I started, getting to this. I'm like, oh, no. I've been great all year. Mm-hmm. No issues. And then this up and down stuff has just been...
yeah.
Hey, this is not funny. Not funny.
I'm nervous.
We were watching Twisters last night.
Oh, we were.
And I said, did you see that story about that couple that they lost their arms from a tornado? They were holding each other, and you're like, no, you're making this up. And I'm like...
You have to understand his sense of humor is dreadful sometimes, but go ahead.
I said, no. So you looked it up, and...
Yeah.
Okay. If you haven't, this is just great. And really, I don't bring this up on a Friday. I don't want to.
You're bringing down the.
I don't want to bring anything down.
You're great song, and then boom.
I know, but I'm gonna take the other approach. Like, man, you talk about love. Mm-hmm. This is it, right? And what's crazy is you think, oh, did this happen in like Oklahoma or, Texas or, someplace, Iowa? No, this was London. And I'm trying to see when this happened. This was within the last couple weeks. But a house was torn apart by a tornado. The homeowners, Gail and Paul Klein, were inside at the time. Their nieces said they were found by a neighbor in the hallway hugging each other tightly, and both of them had lost an arm. Gail is still in critical condition and on life support. Paul is stable. They were so selfless in those moments to help someone that they didn't have to when the folks arrived to assess the situation. They were holding each other, and they each lost an arm. But again, just incredible that they were, taking care of each other like that. So I that's the perspective I'm going with here this morning. It's like, oh, that's terrible. Yes, but that's love. What? What?
Nothing.
Is that nice?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought that's the message you should go with today and through the weekend. Just show love, compassion. And
choose kindness.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
A Michigan couple won a $2 million lottery prize on their anniversary.
Oh, cute.
That's a nice story too, right? Well,
yeah.
Michigan couple celebrated their wedding anniversary by sitting down together and scratch off a lottery ticket, uncovering a $2 million prize. Happy anniversary. I don't think we're that smart to think that. Like when it comes to those. Well, first of all, we're lucky if I remember our anniversary or your birthday or Valentine's Day or Mother's Day. Anyhow, to say, hey, we should do this for fun.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really consider that, I don't know. I don't consider that either, so it's okay. Do we mark it on the calendar? Happy anniversary / buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were at the store last night, and we had all that talk yesterday about the lottery, and
we still
didn't even remember to grab one for
Nope.
Tonight or tomorrow.
I think there's one tonight and tomorrow. I think tonight's like 100 and.
Yeah, I know. We went through this yesterday. It's probably gone up a little bit. 100
and some thousand, 100 and some million. I don't know. You want me to look?
No,
okay.
No. Hey, how about this? This is a nice story here this morning too. A New York news anchor completes her broadcast while in labor.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. A morning news anchor for a New York station went into labor in the early morning, and she still anchored the morning show less than 2 hours later. She works for WRGB-TV, CBS 6 in Albany, anchored the 6 a.m. news broadcast on Wednesday after her water broke at around 4:15 a.m. She said, her co-anchor said, we do have some breaking news this morning, literally. That was the start of the broadcast. Olivia's water is broke. She insisted it was still early labor with her contractions far apart and went on to anchor the entire broadcast before going to the hospital. A counter in the corner of the screen explained it was 2 days past her due date. The anchor had announced in February that she and her husband were expecting their first child. The news director, Stone Grissom, that's a name.
Yeah.
Stone Grissom. Wow. That's like, what?
Nothing, go.
That's
It's like a radio announcer saying, but go ahead.
Well, no, it's her Dateline NBC. Remember Stone Phillips? I'm like, that's a name. Stone Phillips. Stone Grissom, the news director, praised the anchor in a statement issued after the broadcast. We couldn't be more thrilled for them, from her on-air pregnancy announcement earlier this year to running a half marathon while expecting. Olivia has met every stage of this journey with grace and grit. Today was no exception. Olivia's passion for storytelling, love for her hometown, and commitment to our viewers have always been evident. We're overjoyed to soon welcome our newest and tiniest member. So that's good job, Stone Grissom. Good announcement there.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know. I just you probably could have done that, because by the time you started to the time you delivered,
yeah,
at least with the first child, it seemed like it was 18 days.
26 hours.
Yeah. It was a long time.
It was 26
You could have done a
hours.
couple shows in that time.
Yeah, and he was like a week overdue, a week and a half, something like that. He was way overdue.
Yeah. And then there's, men who, like me, I'm not feeling well. Can you make me some soup?
My head hurts.
I can't do it.
I can't even open my eyes.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to get to birthdays and what we're celebrating. You want to do that?
Sure.
Today's the 30th day of May.
So I'm going to warn you, I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. Not the first one. Country singer Winona Judd.
And you did.
Winona Judd. I know, after I said I'm not going to, I did. Winona Judd is 61. Director Antoine Fuqua. Did I say that right?
Sure.
60. Singer and actress. I know who she is, and I'm not going to say it right. Idina Menzel is 54.
You didn't butcher it as bad as Travolta did on stage.
Oh.
Do you remember that? He wasn't even close. Like, everybody was like, what? Who?
CeeLo Green is 50 today.
Yes.
I didn't butcher that one. Actress Javicia Leslie is 38. I don't know if I butchered that one. I wouldn't. I did?
You did, yeah.
Okay, great. That's all I got.
All right.
On to
Happy
the
birthday.
end of May.
Now, this is going to be quite the list, right? Because we got the
I'm
weekend.
going to go through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I won't do all of the months. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Today's European Neighbors Day, Fakes-giving, International Hug Your
Fakes-giving?
Cat. Fakes-giving. Not thanks, fakes. Do you really want me to look it up?
No.
Okay, great. International Hug Your Cat Day, Loomis Day, National Creativity Day, National E-Bike Day, National Heat Awareness Day. Not in Pennsylvania. National Hole in My Bucket Day, National Mint Julep Day, National Sophia Day, World MS Day. And then tomorrow we celebrate Autonomous Vehicle Day, National Fisher Folks Day, National Macaroon Day, National Save Your Hearing Day, National Smile Day, National Speak in Complete Sentences Day, National Utah Day, Tracky Dak Day, Web Designers Day, What You Think Upon Grows Up. Wait a minute. What You Think Upon Grows Day, World No Tobacco Day, World Parrot Day, Garden Wildlife Week, National Children's Gardening Week, National Patient Participation Week, Dragon Boat Festival, and Saturday we have Clint Eastwood's birthday and Colin Farrell's birthday. And then, sorry, I have to go all the way back to June.
June 1st.
I know,
on
it's
Sunday.
crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready? Okay. June 1st, on Sunday, we celebrate Dare Day, Don't Give Up the Ship Day, Flip a Coin Day, Global Day of Parents, Intergenerational Day, International Children's Day, National Barefoot Day, National Billboard Day, National Cancer Survivors Day, National Hazelnut Cake Day, National Heimlich Maneuver Day, National Nail Polish Day, National Olive Day, National Pen Pal Day, National Skincare Education Day, New Year's Resolution, Recommitment Day, Oscar the Grouch Day, Say Something Nice Day, Stand for Children Day, Wear a Dress Day, World Milk Day, World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, World Outlander Day, World Reef Awareness Day, Bed Bug Awareness Week. I'm going to stop there because then you're getting into the weeks, the month, or in the month celebration.
Okay. And you'll do some of that on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a lot there. Did you kind of pick something you're going to do?
No.
No?
I didn't.
Nothing to celebrate for you?
I don't. No, I'm not going to wear a dress. I might say something nice. I'll try my best.
No comment.
I hope I'm not celebrating National Heimlich Maneuver Day.
Yeah, that's...
So...
That's important stuff to know.
I might celebrate Barefoot Day on Sunday.
What's the... I was going to say, what's the weather going to be like?
It's 60 and not raining on Sunday.
Okay.
So...
good, sit on the porch?
Sit on the porch, read a book, and a bare feet day.
Okay. All right. You should do a little porch Sunday book club.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
You want to organize that?
I'll get right on that.
Okay.
You don't understand. You make fun of me.
For
when
what?
I read a book, I need to be in a quiet. So I put on my noise canceling headphones, but you still.
Are you listening to music?
Lightly, but I need.
How can you listen to music and read at the same time?
I can. I can.
That's not distracting?
No.
But wait a second. But you're yelling at me because when you put your headphones on, I do like to talk to you, which irritates you. But you can't handle listening to music and hearing me, but you can listen to music and read a book.
And it drives me nuts when I'm trying to read a book and you're trying to talk to me. You did that to somebody who went on our trip with us. Every time she started to read a book in the back seat, you started talking to her.
Well, first of all, I have to say, when you... no, I don't want to get into this, because when you travel someplace, it drives me crazy when somebody starts to read in the car instead of looking out and seeing what's around them.
She was in the car on the way to Pittsburgh. She travels that trip all the time.
Okay. All right.
And you and I were talking, so she pulled out a book and you started talking.
No. I stopped when I saw that she fell asleep.
Okay.
Look at you. Okay. All right. We got a busy morning ahead.
Today is not Say Something Nice Day.
Today, no, save
Brace
it.
yourself.
Yeah. Amy saves it for the one time a year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there's one day.
I'll be in that same boat with you. Okay.
Okay, great.
We've got Cheri Porter joining us from the OC&T Railroad. Holly Sprong from the Titusville YMCA. Talk about sort of rekindling your New Year's resolution. Do you remember what your New Year's resolution was?
I don't make them because I know I'm going to cancel it. I don't have one.
But anyways, Holly's going to join us, and Mr. Sports, Bruce Peterson, will be with us here on this Friday. All right, 7:30. Your headlines are coming up next. Trust us, folks. Beautiful weather is on the way. Next week's going to be great. Why'd you put your headphones on?
President submitted a ceasefire proposal to Hamas that Israel backed and supported. Israel signed off on this proposal before it was sent to
Most of the Swiss village of Blatten was seen submerged under water, mud, and rock on Thursday. It comes a day after a large chunk of a glacier came crashing down a mountain, engulfing some 90% of the village. Lawton's 300 residents had already been evacuated earlier in May after part of the mountain behind the Bierk Glacier began to crumble. Rescue teams have continued looking for a missing 64-year-old man, but have so far found nothing. A spokesperson for local authorities said that buildings which had emerged intact from the landslide are now flooded, and that some residents of neighboring villages had been evacuated as a precaution. Some experts have warned of the risks of flooding, as vast mounds of debris are clogging the path of the river Lonza, causing a huge lake to swell amid the wreckage.
The images are just really, really shocking.
Mylene Jackmar is a glaciologist.
Over the course of the past 2 weeks or so, there was a large rock instability that developed above the glacier. So there's a mountain, and rock started falling off the mountain and depositing on the glacier.
While Jackmar cannot say for certain whether climate change was the underlying cause of this event, she said it's one of the main drivers behind big changes in the mountains.
What we know is that climate change at high elevations is not favorable for rock slope stability. So with increasing temperatures, more water available through ice and snow melt, maybe precipitation falling even high elevations more often as rain than as snow. So those are factors that are not beneficial to mountain stability.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom, ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Welcome to Inspire Med Spa, the place you know and love for massages, Botox, laser resurfacing, and semi-permanent makeup. Now we're offering even more, including laser hair removal, tattoo removal, and hair rejuvenation. Our team is here to provide expert care in a peaceful, luxurious environment designed with your relaxation in mind. And with our newly added services, now you can get all your beauty services in one place. Visit Inspire Med Spa today, because you deserve to look and feel your best.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place. And now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just
hard on both of us, but try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
This Memorial Day, Community Chevrolet honors those who fought to save the freedoms we enjoy today. And the least we can do is save you more than $9,000 off America's favorite truck, the Silverado.
You have my undivided attention. Ooh, I smell hot dogs.
You can also save more than $5,000 off the Silverado 2500 and more than $2,000 off the 2025 Colorado.
I may be colorblind, but these deals seem red, white, and true.
Community Chevy's Memorial Day sale only during Military Appreciation Month at Community Chevrolet.
U.S. stocks finished higher Thursday with the Dow gaining more than 0.25% and the S&P 500 and NASDAQ each rising about 0.4%. Investors digested a late afternoon court ruling that reinstated President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, reversing a trade court decision from the previous day that had blocked them. Meanwhile, shares of Nvidia jumped more than 3% after the AI bellwether reported stronger than expected quarterly sales. Ben McMillan, Chief Investment Officer at IDX Advisors, said Nvidia's results overshadowed the market's reaction to the latest tariff back and forth.
That's kind of been the story this entire year is, it's been tariff ping pong, for lack of a better term. And we saw, a lot of exuberance immediately after that court blocked it. Now there's news coming out today that, well, the White House is almost certainly going to challenge this. Also, there's still going to be tariffs in place. It's not like they, evaporated. If anything, I think the bigger story, honestly, is NVIDIA, with the beat that they had and, just the signal that sends for, kind of broader strength and, what has been the main growth sector for equities of recent.
In other company news, shares of Best Buy plunged more than 7% after the retailer lowered its annual sales and profit forecast amid concerns that U.S. tariffs would weigh on consumer demand for big-ticket items. Boeing rose more than 3% after its CEO said the plane maker aims to increase its production of its best-selling 737 MAX jets. On the economic front, the number of Americans filing new applications for jobless benefits increased more than expected, and the unemployment rate appeared to have picked up in May. And a second reading from the Commerce Department showed U.S. GDP contracted 0.2% in the first quarter. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast a 0.3% contraction.
Joining us this morning from the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad, it's Cheri Porter. Hi, Cheri. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks. How about you?
Great. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Well, people get excited about the summer months, and obviously there's a lot going on. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on this summer, but May seems to be like a really busy time for everybody, including the railroad, with school tours and just all sorts of things going on. Let's kind of recap what happened this month.
So, although we are not officially open until June 14th, we did start May. We had our first murder mystery, which was well attended, and everybody had a really good time. Everybody leaving was laughing and smiling, and the people that won their gifts were, kind of dancing their way out the door. So that was an excellent thing. And then, like you said, we did start with our school tours. So the school tours for spring are done. We were fortunate enough to host 13 different schools.
Wow.
Most all of them, everybody this time was from Pennsylvania. No out-of-staters this time. Last year we had some, I think, from Ohio and New York. And we ended up with a total of, 608 people.
Wow.
So break that into 6 days. That's 100 people a day. So works out well.
So do you have to, is that like a coordination with Drakewell, or is that a completely separate thing?
So some of them do coordinate their visits. So some of them will come in and they will start down at Drakewell with Sarah and her volunteers down there do a tour of the grounds, and then they meet us at the platform. We pick them up there and take them southbound. Some of them will do just a one-way trip. Their bus will then meet them at Wren Farm. Others will do a full round trip, come back, and we'll drop them back off at Drake Well. Others of them will get on at Drake Well, do the train trip first, and then go meet Sarah and her crew after and do the tour. And so, yeah, we try to coordinate it, so that they can do both events. I mean, it's a very cost-effective event for the schools because Drake Well is fortunate enough to have funding. They can help cover the free passes for the students, I believe. They also do free busing and stuff like that. We are fortunate enough that when we participate in Crawford Gives, that money that we generate from that goes directly into our student line. So the students don't pay, most of the time do not pay to ride the train and stuff like that. So we try to work very well together so that really the only cost they have is maybe the adults that are with the groups and stuff like that.
That's great. Do you ever get anybody that says, maybe they they come to Drake Well, but they're not doing the train, and then they look and see the train come through and pick up other, schools, and they go, "Oh, wow,
we didn't know we could do that."
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Sarah will tell you that they have quite a few people that are like, "Can we do that too?" And so she's like, "Yep," and she gives them the office number, and so they make contact with us, and so hopefully the following spring we get them in. So
that's great, because that's one of my favorite trips. When I look back at all the field trips we took in school, my favorite was Drake Well and the train ride and the picnic and all of that. It was so cool.
I'll take your word for it because my school didn't take us there. So one more thing for you guys to pick on because I didn't go to Titusville schools.
But it is, again, if you're a neighboring school and you've got schools that come, hours away, and that makes it a very effective trip, doesn't it? When you can kind of add both elements to it.
Yes. Last year we had students that came from Du Bois up and did Drake Well first and then got on the train and, did the round trip with us and then, bussed back to Du Bois. And we had another group that was from fairly far away. I just don't remember where they were, but I want to say they were up in New York State somewhere.
Oh, wow.
And so, they came down and did both events as well. So
that's great. Is that just something that if a school district's interested in for next year, they can call you at the office and get that information?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're actually getting ready to put together our information for our fall school trips because the kids can do school trips in May and in October. So we're getting ready to put the letters together to send out to invite them for October if they want to do that. And then, of course, once we get towards the end of the season, November, December, we'll probably send out information for May and stuff like that.
But what a great time to go, October.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And is that limited? So, if you're a school district interested in that, you should probably call sooner rather than later?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, so busy month.
Yes.
Mother's Day, did you guys do
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We did Mother's Day. It was a sold-out train. And we were fortunate enough that our treats for the mothers came from Ice House Bakery over in Conneaut Lake. And they were an absolute hit. Everybody really enjoyed them. And so now I have to figure out what to do for the fathers to, keep it even. So that's on today's to-do list. So,
well, now we get into June and the summer months.
Yes.
What happens here in June?
So June, we start officially the season on June 14th. And there will be other events taking place at the station before the train season actually opens. We will be having a group in hosting an open mic night that will be held in the front half of Perry Street Station. Those will be on Thursday nights from 5:30 to 8, 5 to 8.
Something like that.
Yes. So anyway, they will be there.
You haven't regretted that yet?
No, absolutely not. So, but anyway, so those will be there starting Thursday the 5th, and then our season officially opens on June 14th, and we will run every weekend in June, Saturdays and Sundays. On June 15th should be Father's Day, so dads ride for $10 with the purchase of another ticket. And like I said, we're working on the treats for Dad to, kind of keep it even with the cakes that Mom's got for Mother's Day.
Wow.
So we're working on that.
You should do like golf balls, like Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad golf balls. That's a little pricey.
Yeah. One of the girls that we do travel shows with actually did fishing bobbers.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well, that's kind of a unique thing, but, we'll see what we come up with.
Do that for the Oil Creek Classic.
There you go. So, and we forgot to mention that in May.
Yeah.
We hosted their Rotary's charter for their community day. So that was another sold out train that we had in May.
Wow.
So yeah, we had a busy month of May. But yeah, so June we will also have another murder mystery dinner, and we will have our first wine tasting train. So first wine tasting train, I believe, is on June 6th, and then murder mystery should be June 21st.
And tickets are available for both?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Again, call ahead.
Yes.
Get your tickets in advance.
Yep.
Sidetracked Winery will be there June 6th.
Yes. And this is their first visit for the wine train, so...
What's that conversation like? That's got to be interesting, like... Really? On a train? Yeah, we'll be there.
Pretty much, yeah. You summed it up. So yeah, I have the pleasure of doing that every year. I try to pick different wineries from different areas and bring them in, but try to keep them fairly local within the area and stuff like that. And when I first broached the topic, they're like, really? On a train? Well, it's moving. And I'm like, yes. And then they're like, well, that sounds kind of fun. And so, yeah. Yeah.
That's great. And for the murder mystery, again, if you are just looking for a really good time, here's a shot. This is everybody back at the station. Boy, that looks like it's just an incredible event.
Yes. Yep. They all seem to have a really good time with it.
And they come from all over the place to enjoy these.
Yep.
That's fantastic. All right. So sign up and have some fun.
Yes, please.
So, again, there's a lot of events happening in June. I would imagine, May being so busy, volunteers are extremely important.
Absolutely.
Are you in need of volunteers?
Always.
Okay.
Always. So, yes, we are trying to get together some individuals that are interested in volunteering. We would like to put together a training and get them, comfortable with the train, trained and ready to go, so that come October, we've got a group that's comfortable being on the train all the time. But we are always looking for new volunteers. And if it's somebody that doesn't really want to be out dealing with the public, if you are more maintenance minded, if you are more landscaping minded, please call me. I'm willing to take any help I can get.
Would people be surprised how much goes into it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that seems like any volunteer position that you would have available, more to it than what you might think, and you can put in as much as you'd like to as well. So
yes, and that's just it. I have one of my volunteers who comes in, and he is here almost every train ride that we do. And I am very, very fortunate to have him, and very blessed to have him as part of our crew. But some days I feel like it's more of a job to him than it is a volunteer experience. And so his grandson is now playing college baseball, and so he has already given me the schedule. I will not be here on these days, and I'm like, okay, we got this. But it would just be nice to have enough of a group that not everybody had to be there every train ride. So.
Okay. But if you're thinking, boy, that sounds like it would be a lot of fun, chance to help, chance to be involved, they can call you and
absolutely
meet with you and have that conversation.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Anything else in June? I say anything else, that's like boom, boom, boom. There's so much happening there.
I think that covers June pretty well.
Okay.
So
we're going to get into July, where you have a really cool thing towards the end of the month. But let's do this first. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Cheri Porter with us here this morning and talking about the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad. Again, folks coming up, visiting. great place to stay at the Caboose Motel.
Absolutely.
If it's not booked.
Right. Yes.
It fills up quickly, but call and spend some time. Some great things going on. I thought this was really cool. I know you talked about it before with the tiki train, but riding the rails with wagging tails.
Yes.
This is cool.
Yes. So we have worked with this group from Slippery Rock University. It is one of their master's program cohorts, and they come up with their crisis response dogs, and they develop activities that they do in each one of the cars. So kids can go from car to car, deal with the different dogs and stuff like that. So it's kind of a two-sided thing. It is allowing these people to understand that there are crisis response dogs trained locally that could respond in case of an emergency. But it also is a training experience for the dogs because most of them never have the experience of being on a train until they get dispatched to some place like Washington, D.C. or the big metro areas that have rail service and stuff like that. And the first time these dogs are on the train, it's kind of like this overwhelming experience for them. By bringing them up here, this gives them the chance to kind of get the concept of the sounds, the noises, the feel of being on the train. So it works out well for both sides of it. And they're a great group to work with, and we always end up with such an assortment of dogs, and the people just love it. So it's a really great thing.
That's fantastic. Again, that's coming up the end of July, but there's so many things happening before that.
Yes.
Kind of run through the rest of the summer and what's on the agenda.
All right. July starts our Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays for the season, and that will run through August. July, we will have our Veterans and Military Recognition Train. That is on July 5th. So again, veterans and active military ride for $10 with the purchase of another ticket. So then we will also have our second wine tasting train, and that one is July 11th. And then we will also have our third murder mystery for the season, and it is going to be on July 19th? 16th. I can't read my lines because I don't have my glasses on. But anyway, yes, so we will have our third murder mystery, and then on the 26th of July, we will have our Christmas in July, where Santa and Mrs. Claus ride the train while they're on vacation. And again, always, Santa has to have gifts for the kids. So the elves have been busy putting those together already and stuff like that. So
was it December you had the Santa runs going on?
November and
December. Can I just tell you how magical that experience was? You walk into the Perry Street Station, you got a Christmas tree, presents under. It was so cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just awesome. So.
Yeah. So July, we try to do the same thing. No Christmas tree. It's all palm trees and, fun stuff like that. So it's more about Santa being on vacation than it is being Christmas, really. But so.
Well, and I think what I'm getting at is before you even step on the train, it's like as soon as you walk into Perry Street Station, you're just kind of hit with like nostalgia, and you just think about, again, growing up, playing with trains and, that whole thing.
And that's what we want you to do.
Yeah.
We want to make you recall those memories, but we want to help you create those for the future generations. So
that's great. And a lot of times too, I know we talk about this a lot, Cheri, but we talk about, these upcoming events that are months down the road because these things do sell out quickly.
Yes.
So again, if you're thinking, boy, that sounds like fun, make those plans and get it taken care of because they do sell out quickly.
Right. And just for example, we've already got 2 days in October that first class is already sold out. So, I mean, we're not kidding when we say that, they go early.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to think, oh, that's down the road. They don't want to hear from me. Because there there are things that people say, don't call yet, we're not ready for it.
Right.
And not the case here.
No, absolutely. We want you to call early. We want you to make sure you've got those seats. I talked to somebody the other day that was looking to do a group tour in August maybe. And I said, okay, let's get all your tentative information. I said, because it's easier for me to take your information and hold those seats for you. And if it doesn't work out, you can call me back and say, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to do this. Then it is for you to call me when we're closer to that event and say, I need 40 seats. And I'm like, sorry, I don't have 40. So, we would much rather have somebody call us early. And we always try to tell them, overestimate what you think your group size is going to be. If you think you're only going to get 25 people, estimate for 40, because it's easier, again, for me to hold those seats and then you to need fewer, and then I can release the extra seats that you're not using, as opposed to try to figure out how to squeeze more people in after the train is full. So
I don't want to jinx anything, but it sounds like this is shaping up to be another exceptional year.
I certainly hope so, yes.
Yeah, and you're well on your way to what, the 1 millionth rider?
Yes, we are. I looked yesterday, and we are at 868,000 plus.
Wow.
So.
Boy, that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
That's great. All right. Now, before you hit that number, you got to welcome more folks in, and lots of opportunities to do that. Folks can go to the website, the Facebook page, and get the calendar of events. August, real quick, I know there's with Oil Fest and the anniversary of Colonel Dre. There's so much that's going on.
Right.
August is also a busy month for you.
Yes. So August, we have our speeder group that comes in, and they offer runs during Oil Fest. So they will arrive Friday night. They will do runs Saturday morning and Saturday evening. That is the one weekend out of the season, the main season, where we adjust the train ride. It gets bumped back to 1 o'clock to give the speeders time to do their ride in the morning and their ride in the evening without. And we also do it because we don't want to conflict with the parade uptown and that type of thing. So, but yeah, so the speeders will go out at 9 a.m., train at 1, and speeders again at 6 that weekend. So that'll also be our last wine tasting, August 15th, maybe, if that's a Friday. And that will be Twisted Vine out of Kane. And then we will have 2 murder mysteries the last 2 Saturdays in August. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. I saw, I know you do such a great job at promoting the events happening in the region.
That's JC, not me.
Well, but you as in, the OC&T
Right.
Railroad. But it's also cool when local businesses also say, hey, how can we help, you?
Yep.
And, I think Oars Brewing did something special.
Yes, they are going to be our host for our Taps on Tracks, which I forgot, which is the first Friday in August.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. And I think they've got something, if you bring in your train ticket, they'll give you a percentage off or something like that. So, again, it's really cool synergy with what's going on. And that's why I think you're involved in so much, Cheri, just you. But, yeah, it's great. All right. If folks have questions, want more information, how do they find you?
So you can check us out at www.octrr.org. You can check out our Facebook at Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad, or you can give us a call at the office at 814-676-1733.
Cheri, good to see you this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Busy time, the
Yes.
Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad.
Yes.
President submitted a ceasefire proposal to Hamas that Israel backed and supported. Israel signed off on this proposal before it was sent to Hamas.
Most of the Swiss village of Blatten was seen submerged under water, mud, and rock on Thursday. It comes a day after a large chunk of a glacier came crashing down a mountain, engulfing some 90% of the village. Blatten's 300 residents had already been evacuated earlier in May after part of the mountain behind the Birk Glacier began to crumble. Rescue teams have continued looking for a missing 64-year-old man, but have so far found nothing. A spokesperson for local authorities said that buildings which had emerged intact from the landslide are now flooded, and that some residents of neighboring villages had been evacuated as a precaution. Some experts have warned of the risks of flooding, as vast mounds of debris are clogging the path of the river Lonza, causing a huge lake to swell amid the wreckage.
The images are just really, really shocking.
Mylene Jackmar is a glaciologist.
Over the course of the past 2 weeks or so, there was a large rock instability that developed above the glacier. So there's a mountain and, rock started falling off the mountain and depositing on the glacier.
While Jackmar cannot say for certain whether climate change was the underlying cause of this event, she said it's one of the main drivers behind big changes in the mountains.
What we know is that, climate change at high elevations is not favorable for rock slope stability. So with increasing temperatures, more water available through ice and snow melt, maybe precipitation falling even at high elevations more often as rain than as snow. So those are factors that are not beneficial to mountain stability.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Poppy's Equipment and Storage Rental in Pleasantville is committed to providing our customers with exceptional service while offering quality rental equipment. Poppy's is now an authorized steel dealer with everything you need to have for sawing and cutting or mowing to digging. And of course, Poppy's has tents, tables, chairs, heaters, generators, barbecues, and more for your next wedding or get-together. Need firewood or propane? No problem. Whether you're in construction or a weekend warrior, reach out to Poppy's about your next project. Poppy's Place on the Tenesta Road in Pleasantville. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
For a unique shopping experience with great gift ideas, decor, and so much more, come check out what Titusville Market Square's nearly 100 vendors have to offer. Featuring unique items from local agribusiness, craftsmen, and vendors, we also offer products from 4 regional dairies, including a full line of Titusville dairy products. We carry a complete line of Amish wedding products, local honey, and maple syrup, as well as nostalgic Dog and Suds root beer and Fiestada pizzas. Don't forget to pick up fresh Clark's Donuts, delivered daily. Titusville Market Square, the new name in one-stop shopping.
Who can solve this equation? Ooh!
Me.
Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm.
Okay. All right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you.
Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Fat Chad's Brewing is Titusville's premier dining destination, offering fine dining served with a cold beverage and great conversations. Try our new menu items, the T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Our pasta entries and sandwiches are just as popular. Try the new lobster ravioli, shrimp and scallop pasta, or our popular Asiago chicken. Don't forget about our famous burgers or fish sandwich, all served with fresh cut fries. Come in Saturday nights for Wild Game Saturdays. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
For over 11 years, Triple M Roofing has been providing Amish quality craftsmanship and work ethic that you can rely on. Pole barns, decks, porches, siding, and almost all roofing needs, Triple M Roofing will get the job done on time without sacrificing quality or the promise to deliver within your budget. Call today for a free estimate, 814-964-0472. Waiting is what you'll do with the other guys. Getting it done is what we do. Amish owned and operated, we're Triple M Roofing.
U.S. stocks finished higher Thursday with the Dow gaining more than 0.25% and the S&P 500 and NASDAQ each rising about 0.4%. Investors digested a late afternoon court ruling that reinstated President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, reversing a trade court decision from the previous day that had blocked them. Meanwhile, shares of NVIDIA jumped more than 3% after the AI bellwether reported stronger than expected quarterly sales. Ben McMillan, Chief Investment Officer at IDX Advisors, said NVIDIA's results overshadowed the market's reaction to the latest tariff back and forth.
That's kind of been the story this entire year is, it's been tariff ping pong, for lack of a better term. And we saw, a lot of exuberance immediately after that court blocked it. Now there's news coming out today that, well, the White House is almost certainly going to challenge this. Also, there's still going to be tariffs in place. It's not like they, evaporated. If anything, I think the bigger story, honestly, is NVIDIA, with the beat that they had and, just the signal that sends for, kind of broader strength and, what has been the main growth sector for equities of recent.
In other company news, shares of Best Buy plunged more than 7% after the retailer lowered its annual sales and profit forecast amid concerns that U.S. tariffs would weigh on consumer demand for big-ticket items. Boeing rose more than 3% after its CEO said the plane maker aims to increase its production of its best-selling 737 MAX jets. On the economic front, the number of Americans filing new applications for jobless benefits increased more than expected, and the unemployment rate appeared to have picked up in May. And a second reading from the Commerce Department showed U.S. GDP contracted 0.2% in the first quarter. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast a 0.3% contraction.
Joining us this morning is Holly Sprong from the Titusville YMCA. Hi, Holly. How are you?
I'm great. That's great.
Good. That's good.
Nice.
What's been going on?
Oh, well, just lots of stuff at the YMCA. Making theme songs down there, too. Yeah.
Because healthy living isn't far away.
It's not far away at the YMCA.
I'd have to imagine with the weather we've had in May, it's been pretty good
It's been
business.
a long May. Yeah, people are a little frustrated. I can understand that. But it's nice to be able to have the Y to come inside and walk, and treadmills have been full, yes.
Yeah, good.
So I'm glad we can offer that, It's not raining inside, so it's good.
That's right. Always a smiling face and just a
most
helpful
part,
hand.
yeah.
Well, I mean, until somebody brings up the weather, right? It's like, even we're tired of it. But no, a lot of great things been happening with the YMCA. A lot of things coming up this summer.
Yeah, a lot of good things happening. A lot of exciting things are happening. Probably one of the most exciting things is that, we're really happy to announce that we met our fundraising goal for our Lift Up the Y campaign. So that was huge, making us a whole new wellness center in a way, replacing all of the strength training equipment. And so that's phase 2 of that wellness center refresh.
Wow.
And so then we can, look forward to the next. But right now we're still got to get that stuff in there, the old stuff out. And that should be happening here the middle of June. It's going to take some finagling with, maybe shutting down that room for a day or 2 or 3 because we have to get that stuff out of there, of course, clean, get the new stuff in. But I think it's going to be worth it. And our shutdowns are going to look a little different this year than our typical annual shutdown in August. So we're going to, as stuff comes in, we're just going to kind of get right at it and not save it. We want to get it in there so people can start using it. So you can look for that in the middle of June.
But there's a lot of excitement with that, isn't there? Because this is because you've been doing the equipment that's in there has been used now for a little
very
while.
Long time. It's vintage, yes. And we're trading that in. People have asked, what are you doing with that? And we got some retail value out of that against what we had to spend on the new equipment. But yeah, it's been around a very long time. It came with us when we moved to this building, which is going on 11 years now.
Wow.
So it's done its job, and it was time. You need to take care of what you have. And so we felt that to be good stewards of the Y, it was more important for us to take care and replace things that were aging and needed repair and we couldn't get replacement parts for anymore. So people could have a more safe, effective, and state-of-the-art equipment. Honestly, things change, and there's other things that we wanted equipment-wise, so things are going to look a little differently in the free weight room. So hopefully people will like that. It might take a little getting used to, as change sometimes doesn't go over super well, but it's exciting and it's going to be good.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is it's not just ordering equipment and they drop it off and say,
No.
there's like floor plans that you look at.
Plans,
and
yeah. Jacqueline did a lot of work with our retailer with this and going back and forth with floor plans, and our space is a little odd. It's never ideal. And even, you build a house, you're like, oh, I wish I would have done this differently. But getting things to fit to suit our needs and our floor plan was a bit of a challenge, especially that free weight room. It's long and narrow, and it gets crowded. It does. We're glad people are in there, but we want to maximize that space to the best of our ability. So there's going to be a couple squat racks, a couple different benches, whole new weights. It's going to look different, but hopefully it can maximize your workaught, get you in and out maybe a little quicker, but you may need to find things like, where did that go? Or reconfigure, I don't know, your days or what you're doing on certain days. But we're excited, and it's never an ideal time. It's going to be in the middle of summer programming with, Wes and Michaela are going to be at park program and outdoor club, and they're a very vital part of this project. But, we make it work. That's why we're a great team and we work together really well. It's like, let's just buckle down and do this.
So it seems like you have maybe a couple different groups. You got that one group that will call you in February or March and say, hey, what's going on this summer? I'm trying to get my schedule together for the kids. And then you got the other parents going, oh, you know what? The kids are out of school next week. I got to sign them up for something. So I'm sure it's been busy with those types of phone calls.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think just the trends of way people get their information these days kind of leads them to the latter, where it's like, oh, okay, now I can think about what I'm going to do with them this summer. So we did send flyers out, sent them home with the school a month or so ago to give people old school paper copy, right? Stick it on the fridge, whatever. Look at the bottom of the book bags, because hopefully it did come home with a kiddo from the ECLC through middle school. If not, stop and get one. If not, they're on the website. The program's not the flyer, but you can look on Facebook. And we can go over some of them today, of course.
Yeah.
Some of the traditional ones that we've had before, and throw in some new stuff for the kids. But there's just about something for anybody.
Great.
Sports, non-sports, all kinds of things.
Well, let's get into it. What's going on?
So we have the park program that it meets at Burgess Park on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's a half-day program from 8 in the morning till 12 in the afternoon with Michaela. And usually Samantha Proper is there with her. Sometimes it's Allie, sometimes it's going to be Emma. But for the most part, it's going to be Michaela leading that program down at the park at Burgess. Kids will play kickball and do crafts and experiments, and they'll have a snack. they can go to the splash pad on certain days, and she communicates with the parents through the band app. So you can kind of know, oh, my kid needs a swimsuit today, or, make sure they wear sneakers or whatever. So she's very good about communicating with the kids' parents about that kind of stuff. And then they can take a lunch break, and then you can take them to outdoor club. Same thing, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Outdoor club, again, is in the community, so it's not at the Y. Neither of these programs are. It meets either down at BMX. They'll ride bikes on the track if the conditions are right. If not, they'll ride their bikes on the trails, like the Queen City Trail. They must have a working bike and helmet. So we're not spending the whole time putting chains on, and someone doesn't bring their bike. And again, we'll communicate what days,
And that's
you
not
need
fair
the
to
bike.
the other kids involved.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
Makes it kind of a long 2 hours. But then if they're not down at BMX or Admire, then they go out to Colonel Drake Archers, which is a great outdoor space. There's a pavilion. They can get inside if they need to. They walk trails. They build shelters. They have a lot of guests this summer coming. So we have like a local biologist. We have Allegheny Creek connections coming over from the college to do like, little macroinvertebrate type, scan the water activities, and some local fellows who work with the Game Commission. Going to spend some time with the kids and talk about all those outdoorsy things. So, not really sports related. It's just getting the kids outside and having fun. And they're probably going to get dirty and wet. My nieces always did. But that's what it's all about.
Yes. That's summer around here. It should be summer around
right. Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's how I grew up, Go find something to do.
Yeah.
Throw rocks in the woods. I don't know.
Yes.
Something new is Gamers Gym Quest, and I know a couple little kids that are really excited about this, the little Slater kids, because they get to play their games. They have an hour to sit in the gym with their friends and game. So they can bring their Nintendo Switches or tablets, and then they're going to put them away, and they can play like a gym game. Again, like, I don't know, dodgeball, whatever they want to play, Sharks and Minnows, something like that. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Excited, that's going to go over really well, I think. So sign the kiddos up for that. That's 2 hours on Wednesday afternoons. Youth Gym and Fitness, again, it's kind of a combination where the kids can play in the gym, but they're also going to get their wellness center orientation done. So if they're under 13, they need to go through a youth orientation to be able to use all of the equipment in the wellness center, properly learn gym etiquette. They'll get a wristband, have a contract to sign with their parents. So kids around here that come to our Y get a free membership in 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
So if you're going to be in that age range, sign up for Youth Gym and Fitness, and that way it's an easy transition right into your free Y membership, and you'll be able to go back there, get on the treadmill, other cardio equipment, and our new stuff will be in.
Yeah.
So you can learn how to use all the new stuff too.
Well, and I think that's really important because it demonstrates, one, that the equipment can be dangerous if you don't do something right? And you can hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is you need to show respect for those other folks who are coming in and using the equipment in that space.
Right, and because we'll hear about it, that you're being annoying.
Yeah.
Or they're not sure that you're supposed to be back there, So we've tried to think about how that looks on both sides, making the kids feel welcome. You can be in this space, but there are rules. These people have been using it for a long time, and maybe aren't used to younger people back there. But after you...
Well, and there's that side too, where,
Yeah.
adults need to have some patience and understand that they're in here learning as well. So.
And for the most part, they're awesome about it
Right.
and welcoming, and they actually love it. Love the kids.
That's
love to see the
great.
kids. Yeah.
Well, so just growing up, going to the Y, you always looked up to those older members, I don't mean it like that. I mean, because if you're 12, if you're 24.
Someday I get to do that.
Yeah. So it's important, and you may not realize it, but you are having an impact by being there.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. And keeping that kind of why love for the community and in the families and the traditions of like, this is a great place, this is a safe space.
Yep.
We want you to come, we want you to use it, we want you to make healthy choices for yourself. And this is a great place to be.
Yep, absolutely. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Holly Sprong with us here this morning from the Titusville YMCA. That's just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that was only 4 programs.
Wow. So what else do you have?
We have an adapted open gym time. So parents are required to come to that with their kiddos. So they just get to play in the gym. Kids of all different abilities that maybe don't feel safe or comfortable doing it like in a group setting. And we can get out different equipment, toys, parachutes, and they can come in and play in there and shoot hoops, run around. So excited. Hopefully some kids will come with their parents and enjoy that. That's free for members. There's a youth golf league, which has been pretty popular. They meet over at Pops Windy Knolls, the par 3. You have to have your own clubs for that. But again, we're not doing that in the yard at the Y. We are actually going to a golf course with Wes. Kids really like that. Gymnastics camp will be back for a week, where the equipment will stay up that week in the middle of July in the evenings. So there's different sessions, 5 to 6, ages 3 to 5, 5:15 to 7, or 6:15 to 7:15, 6 and up. And then there is something new, an adult open mat for like the last 45 minutes. So the equipment's up. We have instructors. We have people that used to do gymnastics that really don't get a chance to do it anymore. So they can come in and flip and jump and...
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. We had a request for a volleyball clinic. So we have some volunteers who are coming to really get the kids going for volleyball, maybe, step up their skills a little bit. So a volleyball clinic is coming for grades 6th through 8th. So Hannah Daly, I keep wanting to call her Hannah Rembold, but she's married. Hannah Daly and her sister are going to be leading that clinic. We're having a soccer clinic. Again, that was another request. Some of the parents wanted Michaela to continue teaching them more about soccer, giving them more practice. So there's another opportunity for soccer. And I need to take a breath. We have adult and high school soccer on the turf again this summer.
Really?
Yeah, we do. So we had it last summer, and again, we got approval for there to be Wednesday night adult soccer on the turf, and that is free of charge, actually, thanks to our generous donation from Doctors Popescu and Whalen.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they're very passionate about
great.
soccer and like to be able to support that summer program, and they love playing on the turf.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's got to be exciting when you have like the community reach out to you and say, hey, what can we do to help? Or when you reach out to the community and say, hey, we're looking to do this, and the response is, yeah, let's do it.
Let's see what we can figure out. Yeah. And we do think about it. Like, how can we make this work? Does it fit our mission? Is it, the best? How is it going to be a win-win? All those kinds of things. And yeah, a lot of these things, people did ask us about. We have a special Nerf battle night, a back-to-school party. So kind of like the kids' night outs, but a little different with more of a theme. So again, taking those things that are popular and well-liked and putting a fresh spin on them for the summertime. And it's supposed to be a time of rest, right? We don't have a big fundraiser this summer, so it's like, oh, no, we're just getting tons of equipment and having multiple shutdowns. And
it's like Christmas came early for you guys. It's wonderful.
It is.
You say that, but
really
you've been working on Christmas for a while. But
yeah, actually, after here, we're doing a mini shutdown of the community room because we got new equipment back there too. Surprise!
Oh wow!
Yeah. So that room's gonna be closed this afternoon and through Wednesday. So gonna go change, put on the painting clothes, the cleaning clothes, and it'll get cleaned from top to bottom. Starting today, we have some volunteers coming in, and I'll update the schedule because I know those that are listening who have group exercise planned back there are gonna be like, where do I go? So some of those will be canceled, but it'll be worth it.
What about summer hours? Anything changed there?
Just a little bit. On Saturdays, we close now at noon. So yeah, in usually like the weekend of Memorial Day, we cut it back to noon. It's just with 24-hour access now. Honestly, it's summer in Northwest Pennsylvania. Go outside, enjoy it. I mean, the other hours the same, Monday through Friday. Just cutting that back a little bit on Saturday.
I think the 24/7, was that in effect last summer as well?
It was.
Okay, but it's really ramped up since a year ago.
For sure.
It's going to be interesting to see like those hot days, like how many people come in the evening, or
Yeah, 'cause it's cooler. Yeah. Well, and it's nothing in the summertime. Like, I'm gonna go work out. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're in the winter. You're in bed.
Yeah. That's how depressing it can be. But no, it's going to be interesting to see, and what a great concept, and it sounds like everybody's doing it properly.
Everybody is behaving themselves for the most part. Yes. Every once in a while, I get a little note under my door, but that's okay. We take care of it. We'll address it.
Something else that's coming up: wellness seminar.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up. So we incorporated a couple local specialists to come and just bring their expert knowledge to our members. We started with Dr. Charlie Gates here from Titusville, and that was wonderful. Very well attended. He did a great job. And it was really nice for our members to be able to have a conversation with them. Like, it didn't cost them anything. It wasn't a doctor appointment. Right there at the Y in the gym where they're comfortable. And so in June, we're having Erin Hruska and Kristen Harrington come over from Meadville Medical Center, where they are doctors of physical therapy, and they both are pelvic floor specialists and have knowledge in how to incorporate some of those strengthening exercises into your workout routines. And we're going to do that in an evening in June. I think it's June 24th at 5:15. So that's a regularly scheduled Pilates class, which is perfect, works hand in hand in that kind of arena. And so wear your workout clothes, come and talk to the girls, and I think it's going to be really educational. A lot of people are really excited about that, and they're excited. They're really happy for this opportunity. So
that's great.
Yeah, it'll be nice to meet them. I know you did some interviews with them. We've had members who I know have seen them. They've talked to me about this, and again, they kind of brought it up, some of the members, and reached out, and now we're making a connection, and hopefully people can get some help, and I know they like to share their knowledge too and help people.
Now, for something like that, do members need to call ahead to register for the class, or they can just show up?
Nope, it's just free. It's open to the community. Anybody can come. Hopefully we have room in the community room for everybody. If not, we'll figure it out.
It'll be freshly painted, right?
It will be pretty. and then in July, Kai Skinner is going to come over from Titusville Physical Therapy and talk about vertigo. So we have yet to schedule that in July. We thought we'd let him settle in after having the new babes. And I think we have a lot of people too that have a hard time like getting on the floor to do some core exercises and getting back up, and just their vestibular systems can get a little wonky, and he's going to talk to us about that.
July?
July.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So we had May, June, and July.
Okay. Swimming, that's always a big topic.
Yes.
This time of year.
Huge.
Huge.
We have 2 more sessions of swim lessons. So if
Wow.
you didn't get the kids in yet, I know they're filling up fast. So June's swim lessons start next week. Next week or the week after. I'm not 100% positive on that.
June 9th through
June
the
9th,
26th?
yeah, the week after. So after the school's out.
Okay.
It'll be a 3-week session. That's what I thought. And then July will be a 4-week session. There's no lessons the week of 4th of July.
Okay.
Yeah, all kinds of different session levels, and it's so important. I was just watching something on riptides this morning. It's just, we live around so much water, not necessarily the ocean, but you go on vacation, it's just a peace of mind.
So call and get scheduled.
Sign up. Lots
All
of things to do.
Holly, good to see you this morning.
Good to be
here.
here.
What a fast segment.
I talked fast.
No, there's just so much going on.
There is.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Hello.
Most of the Swiss village of Blatten was seen submerged under water, mud, and rock on Thursday. It comes a day after a large chunk of a glacier came crashing down a mountain, engulfing some 90% of the village. Blatten's 300 residents had already been evacuated earlier in May, after part of the mountain behind the Birk Glacier began to crumble. Rescue teams have continued looking for a missing 64-year-old man, but have so far found nothing. A spokesperson for local authorities said that buildings which had emerged intact from the landslide are now flooded, and that some residents of neighboring villages had been evacuated as a precaution. Some experts have warned of the risks of flooding, as vast mounds of debris are clogging the path of the river Lonza, causing a huge lake to swell amid the wreckage.
The images are just really, really shocking.
Mylene Jackmar is a glaciologist.
Over the course of the past 2 weeks or so, there was a large rock instability that developed above the glacier. So there's a mountain and, rock started falling off the mountain and depositing on the glacier.
While Jackmar cannot say for certain whether climate change was the underlying cause of this event, she said it's one of the main drivers behind big changes in the mountains.
What we know is that, climate change at high elevations is not favorable for rock slope stability. So with increasing temperatures, more water available through ice and snow melt, maybe precipitation falling even at high elevations more often as rain than as snow. So those are factors that are not beneficial to mountain stability.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today, or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Lovin'. Puppy Lovin' is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services, along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
U.S. stocks finished higher Thursday with the Dow gaining more than 0.25% and the S&P 500 and NASDAQ each rising about 0.4%. Investors digested a late afternoon court ruling that reinstated President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, reversing a trade court decision from the previous day that had blocked them. Meanwhile, shares of NVIDIA jumped more than 3% after the AI bellwether reported stronger than expected quarterly sales. Ben McMillan, Chief Investment Officer at IDX Advisors, said NVIDIA's results overshadowed the market's reaction to the latest tariff back and forth.
That's kind of been the story this entire year is, it's been tariff ping pong, for lack of a better term. And we saw, a lot of exuberance immediately after that court blocked it. Now there's news coming out today that, well, the White House is almost certainly going to challenge this. Also, there's still going to be tariffs in place. It's not like they, evaporated. If anything, I think the bigger story, honestly, is NVIDIA, with the beat that they had and, just the signal that sends for, kind of broader strength in, what has been the main growth sector for equities of recent.
In other company news, shares of Best Buy plunged more than 7% after the retailer lowered its annual sales and profit forecast amid concerns that U.S. tariffs would weigh on consumer demand for big-ticket items. Boeing rose more than 3% after its CEO said the plane maker aims to increase its production of its best-selling 737 MAX jets. On the economic front, the number of Americans filing new applications for jobless benefits increased more than expected, and the unemployment rate appeared to have picked up in May. And a second reading from the Commerce Department showed U.S. GDP contracted 0.2% in the first quarter. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast a 0.3% contraction.
Well, joining us this morning is Mr. Sports, Bruce Peterson. Hi, Bruce. How's it going?
Top of the morning to you, Luke.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Is that sun out there?
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's supposed to be.
You brought it in, didn't you?
I did. I brought
on top
it
of the
in.
hill.
I did. I brought it in.
Great to see you this morning. So much going on in sports. Pirates, Steelers. I see this week Mike Sullivan thanked the Pittsburgh fans in a very heartfelt message.
Too bad.
Where do you want to start?
We can start with the Penguins.
Okay.
It looks like it's down to two guys, DJ Smith and Mitch Love. Mitch Love is a assistant coach at Washington, and Smith is assistant coach at L.A.
All right. If you're ownership, who are you picking?
I kind of like Love. They're both defensive-minded coaches. Imagine that. Yeah. A team that can't play defense, they're going to bring in coaches that are defensive-minded. So probably a good idea.
So have you I'm trying to just the way you kind of said the too bad to Mike Sullivan. I mean, you love the guy.
I did.
But you're also somebody that's like, okay, well, that's the past now. It's we're moving on.
Yeah, I've gotten over my, never watching the Penguins again. I'm over that.
Were you over? Really? Were you into it?
I was really ticked.
Okay. Now, are you looking at these two guys and saying, okay, well, listen, I'm mad, but maybe there is something to this?
Well, I really like Mitch Love. I listened to an interview. He's smart. He's a kind of a lot like Sullivan. He's big voice, definitive. He when I watched the interview, he said, he reminds me a lot of Sullivan. He's kind of like a Sullivan clone. Maybe a little more of a defensive guy. So I was happy to see that. I mean, I immediately liked him because he has presence.
Yeah.
And to me, coaches have to have presence, and he has it in spades. And he was talking about his defensive philosophy, and it's kind of like what Pensman needs. Stick on stick defense, and so he's kind of my choice. But I think the other guy is good too, DJ Smith. I wasn't able to find an interview with him to kind of hear what he had to say, but the boss said they wanted to make a decision by June 1st, and that's Sunday.
Wow.
So these are the last two guys that they've interviewed.
The Penguins have such a rich history. I'm sure both of them are like, hey, this would be kind of cool.
This is a good job. And you got Sidney Crosby, and you got a plethora of young draft picks coming. I think 13 draft picks this year. So they're going to, and they've brought in already some other young players. So,
and I think you've talked over the years, like they have a pretty good system in place for bringing in talent.
They do. They're a good team, and they evaluate well. But they've been trading away their higher draft picks in recent years for veteran players. So now they're going to go in the other direction. They're going to keep their draft picks and bring in a lot of young players. And it's like in the pros, like any sport. You draft a lot of people and you find out who can play.
Yeah. I haven't it's kind of weird because I think with the Pirates, with the Steelers, whenever there's a coaching change, I mean, people talk about it. Players, you hear things. Sullivan, to me, and maybe I just haven't looked, it's been kind of quiet. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they let him go. But there hasn't been like this brewing of things coming out where people are players are upset, or it's been kind of weird in that regard.
It's been quiet. Yeah, I agree. But it's off season. I mean, the players are not around the facility. They're all gone.
Yeah.
So that might have something to do with it. But Crosby and Sullivan were very close.
Right.
And I'm sure Crosby hates to see him go.
Yeah. And maybe they're professional enough where things that were said behind closed
doors.
Crosby
is. Crosby would never speak out in public. He's a consummate pro.
Right.
He would never do that to the organization, and but things change.
Yeah.
Got to roll with the changes.
All right. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you can't cry over spilled milk. Or if you do it in your bedroom and don't let anybody see.
Be a man about it.
That's right. Man up.
Yeah, okay. Anything else with Penguins?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, the two coaches, and once they make the decision, then we can talk about it and see what they're like, and blah blah blah. I did want to talk a little bit about the Pirates today. First 2 weeks of May, they were 3-9. The second 2 weeks, they're 6-5. So I like what I'm saying. The Pirates are definitely playing better, and they brought up a young kid, Ashcroft, and he pitched 3 innings in relief and was outstanding. Boy, they got a lot of good young pitchers. They really do. And the Chandler's still down there. He has a 1.27 ERA. I mean, he's having a terrific season. And now Jones, their one big starter from last year, is going to be out for the year. He had ACL surgery, and so he's gone. But all in all, I really like where the team's at. The starting catcher's hurt, but Davis, their young draft picks, came up, and now he's starting to hit. And so the whole team's starting to hit.
Well, that was a big concern when you could only maybe put up 4 runs. And
right. It's been a problem.
It has been. But as you said, they've gotten the bats going the last week and a half or so.
Yeah. And I think the new manager has had something to do with that. He's a lot more high energy. So, Shelton was a nice guy, but very low key. And the new guy is not so low key. He's a little more energetic, and I think maybe holding people to a little more accountability. And they brought in an old veteran, Lamont, to kind of be his bench coach. And Lamont's a really great baseball mind, so I see him in the dugouts talking together all the time. So you always got to, in baseball, you need a good sounding board, too. So we'll see.
Okay.
But I predict that they're going to, by the end of this season, they're going to have to start putting together some win streaks. I just kind of like where they're at. I know I'm the eternal optimist. I get that.
Well,
folks.
so in terms of making that manager change, good call, or is this kind of like a little honeymoon bump with the way the players have responded, or do you think?
No, I think it was a good call.
Do you think the coach is
Yeah, I think it
injecting
was a good
some
call.
energy to the team?
I remember when they changed him, the new coach. They were talking about him in the baseball network. He's highly regarded. Everybody was saying they know this guy. They have a lot of respect for him. So he was going to be a manager sooner rather than later. He just got a chance to do it sooner.
And in his hometown, basically.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think it was a good move. And nothing against Shelton, but they kind of needed to be shaken up a little bit.
Yeah.
And
which is probably what the Penguins were thinking, right?
I think
we
so.
like Sullivan, but we need a little shakeup here.
Yeah. Still don't like it, but,
yeah.
It is what it is. And if the new guy comes in, if Mitch Love comes in and does well, okay.
I think, not to dwell on it, but I think that's part of the conversation with the Steelers, though, and Mike Tomlin. Maybe he's been there so long that the messages aren't maybe hitting the players as hard.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay. Well, anything else with Pirates or baseball?
No.
Okay.
No. I have written on my sheet here under Steelers, is Aaron Rodgers really the answer? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
No,
No, he's not. And I'll tell you, I've been around people in public 3 times, and the subject of Aaron Rodgers is brought up, and to a person, men and women,
yes.
They do not like it. And I don't think he should come to Pittsburgh. I really don't. And now Bradshaw's come out.
Yes.
Called the Steelers a joke. A joke. Now Bradshaw's outspoken, but that's pretty harsh words. And there's been a lot of other people say the same thing.
Has Ben come out directly and said that, or he's just sort of?
He's kind of holding his water.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't made really definitive comments, but I don't know. I don't.
You know what's interesting? I keep waiting for this. I think this would be big because he's had Will Howard on his podcast. He has not had Mason Rudolph. Now, he hasn't said terrible things about Mason.
No, he said good things about Mason.
He has.
And so the players. Players like Mason. In fact, Roman Wilson said he's an elite quarterback, really locked in and bought in. Everyone likes him. He's a good dude. That's one player.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the elite part, but, hey, my understanding is he's been a solid leader so far. And
I've seen some analysts come out and say that at this point in his career, he's probably better than Rodgers.
I've also been reading that Will Howard is looking really good.
Right. He's a rookie. That's the only thing against him. He's a rookie, but and then Ed Bouchette, the old Post-Gazette guy, came out and said that he likes Howard and Mason, and he thinks they should bring in Carson Wentz to be the other quarterback and go that way.
It's been interesting, Bruce, because I've I read a story that said that Arthur Smith doesn't want Rodgers there, and it's really Tomlin.
It's Tomlin.
Maybe ownership,
it's
but Tomlin.
It is Tomlin. I agree. It's Tomlin, and I know why. I don't know why. In fact, Kovacevic on DK Sports had a big, long podcast yesterday just about Tomlin's ability to pick quarterbacks. And he said, and there's maybe a point here, he said that most of the time he's been there, he's had Roethlisberger. Well, it is what it is. You got Ben, and you don't need to think about quarterbacks. But since then, some of the choices haven't been real good. Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett and, Wilson and now Rodgers,
Yeah. But look at the other side of this whole quarterback story, too, is if you bring in somebody like Rodgers, if there is any potential with Will Howard, you're sort of now putting that at risk of giving him some proper attention.
I think the thing with Rodgers that people are concerned about is that we've kind of heard that he can be a bit toxic at times. Now, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that, does he ignore the other quarterbacks? Does he kind of keep to himself? Does he make comments that are negative? I don't know what that means, but there's kind of that, he kind of has that side to him. He's a smart guy. I've seen him on an interview. He's a smart guy. He's not dumb.
Yeah, I think part of it, though, is him not taking responsibility for maybe his actions at times.
Could be.
Almost a Big Ben type of a thing where, because Ben at the last couple of years would make comments at press conferences, somebody didn't run the right route. And it's like,
right.
Okay, well, maybe talk about you first.
Talk about that in the locker room.
Yeah.
Don't talk about that on the air. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're right. It's almost Flacco was put in this position just the other day, and the media was trying to get him on this, where I think it was mentioned like he's not there to train the other quarterbacks. But I don't think that's exactly what he said. I think he was just saying, whatever I say, you're going to take it and turn it into something when that's not the case. Maybe I'm not here to directly work with the other quarterbacks, but I'm there working with them.
I will be,
Yes.
I will be imparting knowledge from time to time.
Right. Yeah. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Mr. Sports, Bruce Peterson with us here. So, I don't know. What's your take on all that? Again, so not only do you have to deal with fans, but you got Arthur Smith who's saying, I don't want him necessarily.
Yeah, and that's pretty big. Arthur Smith is the guy that runs the offense.
Yes.
He kind of wants players to fit into his system. And the reason why Russell Wilson's gone is he wouldn't throw over the middle of the field between the numbers. He wouldn't throw there, and that's a big part of Smith's offense, and that's why Wilson's not there. It's not because he didn't like Russell Wilson couldn't play football. He just wouldn't throw in the middle of the field between the numbers, which is a big part of his offense, and so he's got to find somebody that can do that. So, players have to fit schemes, and obviously Wilson didn't, although I thought Wilson did some good things in Pittsburgh.
Sure, yes.
But, didn't fit the offensive coordinator's philosophy or scheme or whatever. So I don't know what's going to happen. Don't you think we're just kind of speculating here. Don't you think there's a drop dead date that the Steelers have? They're not going to wait forever. We're into OTAs now. We're almost in the mini camp. I mean,
I think that, I don't know.
How patient are they going to be?
This is what's telling to me is I think they're okay with. They're saying I think we're okay with who we have.
Yeah,
we're comfortable.
I agree.
We're comfortable with that.
They're fine with who they got.
So if he signs, fine. If he doesn't, fine.
Right.
But I still think just to get that cloud away from you, just say, hey, listen, we appreciate you even thinking about it.
We're moving on.
We're moving on.
Yeah. Catch you later.
We got the draft coming to Pittsburgh next year.
That might play into what's best for Rodgers is that in the middle of the season, some team's going to need a quarterback, and so he'll sign with them and be the hero.
Yeah.
That might be what's best for him.
Sure.
And I think right now with Pittsburgh, I think he comes to Pittsburgh, I think he gets booed loudly every time he comes on the field. I don't know if I'd want to go through that. Just being honest. So, I don't know. It needs to come to some kind of a conclusion here relatively quickly, according to my opinion. And I think the Steelers feel the same. And I think they're happy with who they got. I think they're happy with Mason Rudolph being the quarterback this year. I do.
Yeah. And I tell you, I'm really excited about I think they're trying to get rid of the preseason games, right?
Well, they're down to
add that 18th week.
Yeah, they're 3, and they're going to get down to 2 in the 18th game, and then with 2 byes.
Yeah.
So that's what they want, and it appears that that's going to be sooner rather than later. Yeah. So it's coming.
So I'm kind of excited to see what Will Howard can do in those preseason games and how he looks.
Yeah.
Hey, the other thing, Bruce, I think we're just under 100 days now till the start of the NFL season.
Oh yeah, it's not far.
How about college football?
Yeah, it's coming. In fact, I'm going to talk about the Penn State schedule.
Okay.
The first 4 games are determined time. August 30th versus Nevada, 3:30 on CBS. September 6th versus FIU, Florida International, at noon on Big Ten Network. September 13th is Villanova at 3:30 on Fox Sports 1. And then 27th is a whiteout game. Gets Oregon. Yeah. September 27th versus Oregon, 7:30 p.m. whiteout game on NBC.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then on October 11th, the Northwestern game, it's going to be either at noon, 3:30, or 4. Well, it won't be at night. So, and then they play UCLA on the 4th, Iowa on the 18th, at Ohio State on the 1st, and then they come home for Indiana on November 8th. November 15th, they're at Michigan State. They come home versus Nebraska on the 22nd. And then the 29th, they're at Rutgers. They have 2 byes this year. They have a bye in the 4th week and a bye in the 7th week. So they're breaking the season up to give teams rest, which the NFL will do if they go to 18 weeks. They have 2 byes.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. Because I don't think the Steelers were happy this year. I mean, they're happy that the schedule's a little bit better, but that bye comes early for them.
They keep getting early byes. You know, you want them 12th, 13th game, not 3rd game, you know. Come on.
Speaking of that game on CBS, this is Gary Danielson's last year calling games for CBS.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Brad Nessler will be joined, I believe, by Charles Davis, who's leaving the NFL.
I like Brad Nessler. I think he's one of the best.
Yeah.
I've always liked him. He has a nice voice. He has a nice personality. I just like the way he calls the game.
Yeah. Gary, sometimes, a lot of people pick on Gary. I think he was a big Alabama. Well, over the years, it seemed like he favored Alabama a lot of times, but, you know.
Whatever. And he's got a voice that's not real pleasing to listen to. I mean, he's okay.
Yeah.
But Nessler has that golden voice.
Right.
Who was the old time on college football? The old guy that was
Vern Lundquist?
No, not him. There was another guy before him, big guy. It was kind of like the voice of college football. He's been retired now about 10 years. Can't think of the name of him. I'll look him up and we'll cover it next week.
There you go. Anything else in sports?
Not too much, really. I think didn't we miss the Preakness? Wasn't the Preakness last week? Yeah, we missed the Preakness last week.
And the Indy 500?
Yeah, the Indy 500 is coming up.
I thought it was last weekend, wasn't it?
I don't know. Was it? I'm so on top of it.
Things I don't talk to you about. Golf? Racing?
Yeah, no, I know nothing about golf. No, I think you're right. It's always around
Memorial Day.
Yeah, so I don't even know who won.
I have never been able to get into racing.
I used to follow the Indianapolis 500. I had an uncle, John, who loved Indy race. In fact, he went to a couple of races, and he had photographs in his basement of all the winning drivers over the years. And so I kind of got into it because of him, because every time I get on there, we talk about racing. You know, he was really into it. But, yeah, it's never been high on my list, and I know nothing about NASCAR. Although there's a movie out now about Earnhardt.
Yes.
Earnhart, yeah. It's on Netflix. I haven't watched it, but it's really popular. A lot of people watch it.
Bruce, good to see you this morning.
You too.
All the best.
See you next week will be June.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy.